Happy video day, guys. It's Christina, Brooke, and I'm bringing you guys another new release. So Urban Decay announced that they were releasing a new naked palette. I told you guys during my Make Up Your Mind that it really interested me. I liked the idea of the color story, so I decided to go ahead and order it, and here it is. So this is the new Urban Decay Naked Wild West palette. So I'm going to be getting into this. I'm going to be creating the eye look that you guys see on my eyes today. I'm going to be telling you guys my thoughts on it, and we've got a lot to talk about. This is a very interesting little palette. I thought it was going to be something interesting when I did Make Up Your Mind, but let me tell you guys, I'm actually pleasantly surprised with what I see. So if you guys are new, hi. I would love it if you go ahead and hit subscribe, join the channel. Now let's go ahead and let's jump into this palette. All right, so first thing, let's talk about this packaging, guys. This is actually really pretty in person. So it actually, in my opinion, I think it looks like a snake, right? So this looks like a snake skin or something, and I really, really like it. So I haven't bought a naked palette in so long that I thought that they still came in tins. And one of you guys did tell me, hey, they're no longer in tins. It's been a little while. That's how long it's been since one of these naked palettes from Urban Decay like really called my attention. I haven't had one since they were in tins. This is actually a really nice packaging. I prefer this a million times over to the tins it used to come in. This is just a hard casing. It's actually very sleek. This is gonna fit inside of my makeup drawers really, really easily. I love the design of it. I just think it's really cool. Actually, the colors of it go really nice with the colors that you guys are gonna see in the interior. So then when you open it up, you do get this really nice long mirror. I'm not a huge fan of long mirrors, but I mean, when you got long palettes, what are you gonna do? They have to be long mirrors. But you know, the mirror does work good. I used it a little bit. I love the compact. I think it's really, really, really pretty. But the colors, guys, the colors are so vibrant and gorgeous. Colors in here just remind me of like a jewel tone beauty. Like there's something really beautiful about the colors in here. The outer carton you get is actually really cute too. It actually does mimic the palette, so it looks just like the palette. Definitely the packaging is really nice. I don't have any complaints, and I really like the layout of the colors. You're going from a lighter gradient all the way to the darkest shade, which I kind of appreciate that. I think it's really pretty. So this palette is going to retail you $49 US. It's available right now at Sephora, and let's go over some of the details that they say about the palette. So it does say it's an all-vegan eyeshadow palette that has 12 desert-inspired neutrals ranging from pale peach, warm brown, metallic bronze to a deep blue green, which is really, really cool. I actually really like the colors in here. So actually inside of here, I like the range of mattes to metallics or shimmers. You're getting 8 mattes, and then you're only getting like 4 metallics and shimmers. So I think that there's 2 metallics and 2 shimmers from what I can feel touching it. I think that 2 of them are metallics. I think 2 of them are shimmers. So I do like the range, and I like the mattes to metallics. I think that's a really nice array. So now that we've kind of gone over everything, like kind of like the details about the palette and everything, let's get into my thoughts. What do I think about this? I will show you guys how I created this eye look. You guys will see all of the details as I'm applying it. But let's get into my first impression thoughts, because that's what you're here for. So this is what I'm thinking, guys. I'm actually kind of pleasantly surprised. I feel like lately a lot of the makeup products that I have tried, I've actually been pleasantly surprised with them, and this is another one. So when I did my Make Up Your Mind, one of the things that I told you guys is the color story was interesting to me. I thought that it could be pretty cool, but it's all going to depend on the formula for me, because Urban Decay is one of those brands that I can't say I consistently love their formula. I think that this color range was really neat, but if the formula wasn't good, it was kind of going to be like a no good for me. And I'm kind of shocked. I liked this formula. I really, really did. This was a very good formula. I'm very pleasantly surprised. What I really like is the colors were actually showing up really nice on the lid. Sometimes when you have like these lighter tones up here and you have a medium or light medium skin tone, they could wash away. If the formula washes away too much, you will blend away the color 100%. You're not going to see nothing, and you're like, what a waste. And that's happened to me on a lot of palettes that I think are going to be like the most beautiful neutral palette of my life, and then they wash away on my lids, and I'm like, but this one showed up beautifully. So even I use this beautiful peach color, and it's kind of like the color that you guys see peeking through this look. I thought it was so gorgeous, okay? So these deeper mattes over here are insanely pigmented and extremely blendable. I used both of the browns, and both of the browns blended really nice for me. I feel like it was pretty pigmented when you put them on, so definitely just go slowly. Don't They're a little bit more dusty, so you're getting a lot more product when you kind of dip into here. So just dip in lightly and start building up. Don't dip in heavy-handed and just put a glob on your eye, because then it's gonna be a little harder to blend out. But I will tell you, I feel like it was pretty easy. Like, it was pretty beginner safe. Like, you could put a lot on and blend it out pretty nicely. So that was really good. I did use the teal only on the lower lash line and it blended nice, but I can't tell you that I used it as a detailing yet. I will have to get back to you on whether that blue works good as detailing. But for the most part, I have to say, I think that these mattes down here, the deep shades, worked really nice. And that's important to me. A good deepening shade, a good deepening matte needs to blend good. That can destroy your look. Destroy your look. So these were really, really nice, and these were really nice too. So I have to say, the mattes, in my opinion, in this palette are beautiful. They blended really nice. They did a really, really good job, and I have absolutely no complaints with any of the colors that I used when it came to the mattes. Now, for the metallics, there is 2 different formulas in here from what I was seeing. I can tell that these 2 right here, the gold and the silver, have a lighter, I believe that these are the shimmers, because when you put them on, it's almost like they have a little bit of opacity to them. Like, they're not like a metallic. You're not going to get like that boom look, you know, so you're gonna have to like pack it on just a tad bit more. I ended up using a wet brush, and I felt like actually it picked up better on a brush than it did just using it with my finger. That being said, it does a beautiful, subtle, shimmery effect that is still visible. It's just not what you think of when you think of like a metallic, you know? So you're definitely getting 2 that are a little bit more subtle. Now, when you move into these 2 down here, these 2, in my opinion, have the real metallic effect. Like, you guys can see, like, this is like a true metallic-y effect that you see a little bit more pigment. I'm going to show you guys the other 2 so you can kind of see what I'm saying. If you guys will see, the gold is actually a little bit more like the metallic, but it has a little bit less vibrancy to it. And the silver is the one that's the most like a real shimmer. So the gold one is a toss-up. I'm not sure if that one's supposed to, I don't know if that one is a shimmer or metallic. It looks like a shimmer to me because it's just not as vibrant as the other 2 for even being like a real gold shade. So just so you guys know, I don't know, like, some people like for their shimmers or their metallics not to be so vibrant. So if you're one of those people, there's really only 2 in here that are vibrant. And because they're deeper colors, they're not so in your face as if one of these were a metallic, it would be a lot more noticeable. And since they're shimmers, they're a little bit less in your face. I actually really like that, especially since the mattes in here are so rich in color, and I feel like the mattes are where you're going to do your most of your look with. So in these shimmers and metallics, in my opinion, in this palette are just to do little accents, but not really to be like the star of the show. I believe the star of the show in here are the mattes, and I appreciate that. You know, if you're going to give me a lot of mattes and make them really good and give me a good variation so I can create a lot of looks that are mostly matte, I'm totally cool if the toppers are not as vibrant, and that's what I feel like this palette gave me. I actually really like it, and I have to say this color selection was unique. Yes, you do have the pops of color that if you cover them, of course, and if you cover these pops of color, you will see it's a little bit more of just a neutral palette. But what I do like is the saturation of the deeper colors here. I do feel like they just have a little bit more than your basic neutral palette. So there is something very beautiful about this. It did come with a brush. Who knows where it went? Yeah, okay, so it also came with a brush. So let me tell you guys, the brush itself, I have to say, this is actually kind of pretty. I put this away in my makeup case, actually thinking that this was one of my brushes and not a brush that comes inside of one of these palettes, because like this is like literally like a full brush. Like, I have to say this is pretty nice. I didn't actually use it, but that actually might be a pretty good brush. So actually the brush in here, I'm pretty shocked that that's the brush that came in here. So overall, guys, I have to say I really like this. I think this is beautiful, and I'm gonna continue wearing it, playing with it, seeing how long it lasts. So now let's go ahead and let's jump into this eye look, and then you know what I'm gonna do after the eye look? I'm gonna give you guys some comparisons, because I did do a make up your mind on this. So I do know some palettes that may look pretty similar. So I'm gonna show you guys the palettes that if you guys own, you might have something pretty similar already in your collection. But let's go ahead, let's take off all this makeup. You guys will see me applying it and giving you guys my thoughts as I'm applying it. So let's get into that right now. All right, guys, here it is. sitting right in front of me. I cannot wait to put this on. It is really pretty in person. I want to see what this looks like. I feel like I'm going to get like a lot of looks out of this right now, like just kind of like getting an idea of it. I knew in my Make Up Your Mind I might like this, but in person I'm just kind of like, yeah, I think I will. So, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I want to do something that I feel like you guys would enjoy at home. I'm going to jump into this one. So this color right here is really calling my attention. It's kind of like a peachy tone. I'm really into like these peachy yellows this like recently. I don't know why. They just kind of are calling my attention. I have a little foundation on my lids. No primer today. Just a little foundation. I have a pretty heavy duty foundation on today. So since it's so full coverage, I figured I don't really need to prime the lids. So let's see how this color looks. So far, I'm liking the color. So these are pretty dusty. If you guys can see, it's dropping a pretty good amount of product. So I'm assuming that's going to make it pretty pigmented, and as of right now I do feel like the pigment is pretty good. This is a lighter tone, but it is showing up on my skin. Now there's some interesting colors in this palette. I told you guys this in my Make Up Your Mind. There's like a bunch of different tones. Like you can go in a bunch of different directions with this, and when seeing it in person it does seem that way as of right now. So that's exciting, you know? That's exciting. I like that color. Very pretty. So far so good. We're starting off on a positive. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit like a gradient, and then I'll deepen it out with a darker color just so I can play with a bunch of colors. So I'm going to go into this kind of like orangey brown color right here. Well, that's a pretty good pigment. We look a little crazy, I know. So then I'm gonna get the deeper brown, which is this deep brown right here. So this deep brown I'm gonna put on the outer edge. Okay, so far the two browns in here are pretty damn good. I like the quality of them, and I feel like they're blending pretty nice. I do not remember liking Urban Decay's qualities so much, especially in the mattes, but so far they're really good. That's really nice, and it's blending nice. All right, so I like it so far. What color do I want to put in the center? I kind of have like this idea. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the silver because it's not the color you would think I'm going to use. Everybody probably think I'm going to go for the gold, so I'm going to go for the silver. I'm going to put this on the center. Actually, that's not bad. It's not bad, but I want to spray a brush. Let's try a spray brush. I'm just going to spray the brush a tad. I think it did. Yeah, I think it might have picked up the product just a tad better with the brush and wet. That's kind of abnormal. I usually like them with the finger, but this is pretty good. Now this formula is not very shocking either. It's kind of a little bit more subtle, but I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. So what I want to try doing, now this might be a little ambitious for this, but I want to try to see if I can kind of play with the kind of like teal color as a liner. Oops, dropped it. So I'm just gonna wet this brush because we kind of know already that I like it a little bit wet. Oop, wet my entire palette. I'm gonna go into this color right here, kind of like get my entire brush in it. I'm actually a little shocked that that actually did work. Starting to like this palette even more now. That doesn't always work. So that's pretty neat. Okay, so let's just do the bottom. So I'm just gonna get this color right here, bring that on the lower lash line. I'm trying not to smoke it out too much, but this is a little bit more of a dramatic color. And then let's do the same on the other side. Darker teal color. And let's kind of put it on the inner portion of the lower lash line. So we'll grab this one. Ooh, dusty, dusty. Cool. This is going to be a longer tutorial than you guys are used to. I'm doing a little bit of a complicated look today, but that's okay. All right, now a little bit of teal in the inner portion of the eye, and I think we'll be good to go. Should we do teal or silver? Oh. Let's brighten up the inner portion just a little bit. Let's use, you see there's not really a great brightening shade, but maybe I can use this one right here. It's okay. It's missing just a tad of a brightening shade, but that's okay because this is a little bit more of a, kind of like a grungier look, I guess. All right, let me go ahead and clean this off. I'm gonna go ahead and blend out a little bit more, put on some mascara, and I'll be right back. All right, and this is the final look, and I have to say, I'm actually pleasantly surprised. All right, so let's do some comparisons, and guys, I really just wanna show you guys, I thought that this palette was going to be a very close similarity, and in person it is. So if you have the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, guys, this is probably going to be your closest dupe. This looks very similar. You're not getting every single color in here. Like, you're not gonna be getting the silver, but you are getting basically most of the teals in here. You're not getting the really deep blue-green, but you're definitely getting a lot of the colors. So if you liked this palette and maybe you wanna try something in this format, this has a lot of the really pretty colors that come in the Jaclyn Hill. So I do think you can get this one and just be like totally cool with a smaller version of the Jaclyn Hill. I think that's like basically what you've got right here. Looking at some of the other palettes, I did say also that I thought Safari looked kind of similar, and I will show you guys. Safari is an all matte palette from Natasha Denona. It has a similar vibe to this one. Pretty good similarities between the two of these. So definitely if you have Safari, then you have a lot of the mattes. Maybe not all of them, but just remember that this is a mostly matte palette. So you're getting a few of the mattes if you have Safari. So a few people thought that it kind of mimicked the Born to Run, and I actually thought so originally too. So here is the Born to Run up against it. I personally think in person you can tell that the Born to Run is pretty different. There's some similarities, but I definitely think you're getting a nice variation of difference here, that if you pick this one up, if you have the Born to Run, you definitely do not have this palette. And the last one that I compared it to was Subculture. Now Subculture only has a few of the colors, so if anything, I would figure Subculture is a little bit different, but I did get the blue-green from this one, and if you guys can see, they are kind of similar. So yeah, those are my comparisons. I hope I was able to give you guys as much information as you needed to make your decision on whether you want to purchase this or not. But I will say, overall, beautiful palette. I do really, really like it. Love this eye look. I love that I was able to create an eyeliner effect using one of the shadows, which is not always very easy to do, and I think it worked really nice. So yeah, I like it. Anyways, if you guys picked this up, leave me your comments down below. Help your friends out down below by leaving them comments and answering any questions that you guys feel like you know the answers. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll talk with you guys later. Bye.